welcome into the box score brought to you by Carthage Safeway. Terry Collins along with Murphy Fair, and Murphy Fair, the end of the regular season is in sight.
It is, but we still got 4 weeks of the playoffs too, so there's still some big games on the immediate horizon.
Let's go ahead and look at the White County at DeKalb County game, 27-21. White County got the running game going. Murphy averaging 10 yards a rush, 36 carries, 361 yards, and then of course the only passing play was where Pinion fired a touchdown and wound up being the game winner for White County. That's the only play he played in. But 398 yards of offense for the Warriors was just too much for DeKalb County to overcome.
Terry, you were telling us prior to going on the air about the young man for White County in the Wildcat offense.
Right.
They just, nobody, doesn't matter who they're lined up against, nobody can do anything with that guy.
Well, when you've got 10 guys blocking for one Murphy and have that extra blocker at the point of attack, it makes a big difference. And,
it does.
You know, that was a big change of pace for White County. You got to give them credit for going to DeKalb, getting a very emotional win, and knocks DeKalb out of the playoffs. But, you know, which is sad because they're sitting there at 6-3. And you see teams, Murphy, that are
2-8,
2-8, 1-9. They're going to make the playoffs.
That's true.
But when there's 7-team region, the top 4 is all that goes, and that's 4 very good teams in region 4A.
Yeah, that's a pretty strong region at the top, and DeKalb kind of got off to a slow start early on, and just really couldn't make up for those early losses.
Let's go ahead and look at some individual numbers from that game. Isaiah Kelso for White County, 16 rushes, 162 yards and a touchdown. Demarius Dow, 15 rushes, 151 yards and a score. And those 2 backs alone, just like the game, averaging 10 yards a rush. And, you know, when you're getting that big of chunks, Murphy, and can't get stops, even though, you know, White County only had 27 points, I'm sure they probably dominated the time of possession.
You look at the numbers, that's 31 plays where they gained 10 yards or more. That's pretty impressive.
It definitely is. Jordan Parker, a big night for DeKalb, 134 yards passing, a couple of scores, and 72 yards rushing, another score. He's had an outstanding year for Steve Trapp's team, and of course they've got Upperman this week. We'll get into that in a minute. Ryan Lyons, 4 receptions, 57 yards and a score. And then White Carter, 2 receptions for 25 yards and a score, but a tough loss for DeKalb. Looks like their playoff streak is going to end, and Steve Trapp has put so much into that, Murphy, that it's a shame that the Tigers are not going to be going.
Yeah, it really is, but you know, when they line up on Friday night, somebody goes away with a smile and somebody goes away not feeling real good about things.
I want to thank Sonica Carthage for sponsoring our stats for the game of the week. Let's go ahead and look at Gordonsville at Bledsoe. Bledsoe wins at 45-35 in Pikeville. Of course, Bledsoe's only got 1 loss. That's to Sequatchie. The Warriors playing in Pikeville there, as we said, Cayman Severe, 13 carries, 93 yards a score. And then Dallas Bridges, 1 reception for 24 yards a score. And then he had a huge pick 6 for 60 yards. For Bledsoe County, they improved to 8-1. Jay Foster, 18 of 23, 213 passing yards, 3 scores. Turner Butcher, 12 rushes for 133 yards and a touchdown. And then Dalton Hancock, another big night, 7 receptions for 102 yards.
Terry, the Bledsoe win really didn't surprise me, but the margin did. Bledsoe's played a very tough schedule. A couple of 3A teams, a couple of 4A teams, and they've just played a tougher schedule than has Gordonsville, and I look for Bledsoe to go 2 or 3 rounds maybe in the postseason.
Watertown at Macon County, that was at Lafayette, and that game was close early, but Macon County with the Borders, which are Mr. Football finalists, Zach, 8 carries, 108 yards, and then Gabe, 6 for 59 and 3 receptions for 60 yards. Watertown without Blake Waldorf, which we'll get into a little bit later when we talk with head coach Gavin Webster of the Purple Tigers. Cameron West, 15 of 29, 112 passing yards. Then Garrett Davis, 3 receptions for 51 yards. No doubt a big emotional night for Macon County with it being senior night, and they've got a huge senior class.
They really do, and that's a pretty good football team. They may not, maybe they didn't win the region. They're kind of still on the border as far as playoff contention is concerned, but I think that's a team that could go fairly deep in the playoffs if they can get any good luck to go along with the ability they have.
Looking at Cannon County, Marion County, the top seed now in that region. Tilton Pickett, unlike a lot of Marion County teams, 11 of 15 for 200 passing yards and a couple of scores. Sam Pickett, the primary target, got 7 of those catches for 147 yards and 2 scores, and then Mason Mays, 13 carries for 118 yards and a score. Marion County running is usually what you think of. You don't think of them passing for that much yardage.
There's a lot of 20-yard plays within those numbers right there, and they've got it going on both sides of the offense, the run and the pass.
Cannon County ended their regular season. They're awaiting the playoffs now. They'll be the number 4 seed. Looks like they'll probably go to Westmoreland. Well, it'll be to Westmoreland because Westmoreland's already wrapped up.
Correct.
The region championship, regardless of what they do in week 11. 4 of 5, 64 yards and a touchdown for Kobe Miller, and Zay Oden 3 receptions for 75 yards. Murphy, when you look at Marion County, I talked to some people in that area. They say Marion's not as strong, maybe as they have been in years past, but the one thing that Marion County does well that maybe they haven't done in the past is have a good balance.
Yeah, and that may be because of their new head coach in about his 3rd year or so, I guess. A former South Pittsburgh player himself, who I think was a receiver, if I'm not mistaken. But it'd be an interesting to see how far Marion goes. They seem to have all the ingredients needed to be deep into the playoffs. Of
course, Marion County, if Smith County loses to Monterey, that's where the Owls will go, is to Jasper to play against Marion. And then, the Smith County region will pair up against the Cannon County, Marion County, Forest region in the first round of the playoffs. And
absolutely.
That should be some interesting matchups for sure. We'll have an interview with Gavin Webster when we return here. The Box Score, brought to you by Carthage Safeway.
Your trusted friend for all your grocery needs in Smith County is Carthage Safeway, your home-owned and home-operated supermarket. From the delicious USDA steaks in their meat department to the freshest produce around, Carthage Safeway is proud to serve you and your family. Todd and Angela Skurlock and everyone at Carthage Safeway are always there with a friendly smile and a helping hand. Great service, prices, and selection. That's Carthage Safeway, 80 Dixon Springs Highway, Carthage.
At DTC, we're constantly looking at ways to improve your quality of life, to help you make the most of all your connections so that you'll have time for the things that matter most, whether at work or play.
Score the best connection with internet that slays. Receive a free month of service when you add or upgrade your internet package with DTC. It's a great time to get started.
Call or visit DTC online today and make the most of your connections.
Hello, I'm Bruce Daniel. I've lived in Cannon County all my life. For the last 59 years, I've only made it across the highway. I married my wife, Melody, in 1981. We hauled our first load of freight in 1983 with one truck and a couple old borrowed trailers. We found a way to make it. Our employees are the backbone of our company. Some of our team members have been with us for more than 30 years.
Nearstar Tennessee Zinc Mines is a proud supporter of athletic programs throughout the area, including high school football and high school basketball. To learn more about us, please visit us at our website, www.nearstar.com. Nearstar Tennessee Zinc Mines.
Countdown to the Gavin Webster interview in 3, 2, 1. Here with head coach Gavin Webster of the Watertown Purple Tigers, and good news is, Coach, looks like you're in the playoffs, and this Friday night means something. You will get if you finish third, you'll be then going to the number 2 seed. If you finish fourth, you'll be going to the number 1 seed. But I know your team anxious to get a victory on Friday night to end Week 11 and the regular season.
Yeah, they are. They're hungry for a win. We're very anxious. Been kind of one of those years. We've been close in a lot of games, but just fell short. So they're looking forward to Friday night.
Gavin, I would bet my house that you win Friday night unless you guys run off the road somewhere. Community's really, really struggling. They're 0-9 right now. Just nothing is going right, and I feel so bad for those kids, but I guess they're learning a good life lesson. You're not going to win at everything that you do, and they've had a very, very tough season.
Well, and I can understand that somewhat. Some way. We've had our struggles this year also with injuries and playing a lot of young guys, and it kind of shows where we're at right now. But believe me, we are not overlooking Community Friday night. That's one thing I learned a long time ago. You don't overlook anybody. So we're not overlooking them.
Coach, it's, I'm sure, senior night maybe for your team, and that's always an emotional time because it looks as if, in all likelihood, you will not have another home game there at your outstanding stadium. And, it's tough when you've been with a lot of those guys for 4 years.
Yeah, it has. You've seen these guys grow, and some of them, when they first come in, you just kind of think about, where they may be in 4 years, and the ones that stuck with us, they've turned out to be real good football players and teammates and fine young men.
Gavin, it's obviously not the kind of season you would have liked to have had, but I was at the Jamboree in Gordonsville back in August, and this team that you have now has come so far in a relatively short period of time. I think you've got to be proud of them. The effort they've never quit. They've never said let's go to the house. They still in the fourth quarter are giving it all they got, and I know that's got to please you and your staff pretty well.
Yeah, it does, Murph. We preach that all year long. Don't quit, keep fighting. And that's kind of been our little motto this year. Just, they've just been in every ball game, and I know our record don't show it, but if you go back and if you've watched our ball games, if you've been to any of them, we've lost some very close ball games, and those guys could have, tucked their heads early and quit, but never did, and kept fighting, and, come close in so many games at getting a win, just come up a few points short, so, hats off to them. I brag, I talk to them every week about that, they keep fighting, and that's one thing they do, they're fighters.
Coach, when you look at Blake Waldorf, I know he's had a big year for you. Unfortunately, he didn't get to play last week. Hopefully he can play for you this week, but as far as throwing the football, he's had a big year.
He has. Blake has had a very productive year, and he's had some good receivers, to throw to that's made him successful, and very proud of him, of what he's accomplished this year, and hopefully he can accomplish some more.
Coach, obviously we hope next year will be better than this one. How many seniors do you have on this year's team, and maybe how many juniors too? I'm mainly curious how many starters are going to be back to their position in 2025.
Well, Murphy, let's put it this way: we've had 6 seniors coming into this year, and we lost 2 ACLs early on and did not get them back, obviously. So we finished out the year with 4 seniors.
So 18 out of 22 positions have veterans coming back then, I would say, maybe more than that.
Correct. Yeah, correct. We play a lot of kids. We got a lot of sophomores, a lot of juniors playing. Sophomore class is predominantly our bigger class. I mean, right off the top of my head, number-wise, I think our junior class is around 13, 14, maybe 12, somewhere in that neighborhood. Sophomores are about 15.
Wow. You're already licking your lips about next year, aren't you?
Well, yeah, if we can stay healthy, that's the key to this whole thing. We felt pretty good about this year coming into it just because of what we had, and that's what happens. Small school, when you get some major injuries, and you're having to look to kids that's really never played that spot, having to step in, because we had one senior was a lineman, offensive lineman, defensive lineman. One senior was inside linebacker, running back, and we had a junior that we lost that was running back, inside linebacker. So we're looking at, those guys go out. We're looking at sophomores that's never played any varsity downs, trying to fill those spots on both sides of the ball.
And you didn't just lose 3 kids, you lost 6 positions, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you really want to look at it that way, we did. We sure did.
Gavin, when you look at your game earlier at Grundy County, I was talking to Josh, and Josh said he thought it was the longest football game he'd ever been involved in. Of course, it was a 45-44 victory for the Purple Tigers, and we're not used to seeing that from Watertown giving up that many points, but it had to please you that your team endured and hung on for the victory.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, like we said there, Terry, these guys, they don't quit. Grundy went down, we struggled defensively at night, and, we kept shooting ourselves in the foot, and then offensively, we had, I think, 2 turnovers on offense and 2 on special teams on kickoff return that night. And, we held them there right before the half and made them punt and scored a touchdown to go up. I think it was 24-21 at half with no time on the clock. So then fast forward to the fourth quarter, I think we picked the ball off and we got it on about the 85. We have to go about 85 or 90 yards. And, we get a 4th and 3. Blake converts a 4th and 3, first down, running the ball on a little rollout pass. And, we was like, if you got it, just run, get the 3 yards. And we don't get that ball game over. And we get that. Next 3 downs were incomplete passes. So now we're looking at 4th and goal from about the 18 somewhere yard line. And a kid that's had struggled, who's been very consistent all year long, Ethan Owen, he struggled that night catching the ball. He did have 4 or 5 passes, but still, on that drive, he dropped 2 or 3. And sure enough, Blake goes right back to him at, in the corner of the end zone and for the winning touchdown, or for the tied touchdown. He would have to kick it to go ahead. So, I just... Again, it goes back to those. They kept fighting and kept finding a way to win.
Coach, one of the things that has hit Watertown, if you want to call it that way, that you had absolutely no control over, and that's how that community is growing. I don't think a lot of people 5-6 years ago would have thought that Watertown would be playing 3A football, but here you are, right in the middle of it. And to have the situations, the things that happened to you in the last year, maybe even the last couple of years, in a much more difficult classification, I think speaks volumes for you and your staff both as to what you all have been able to accomplish.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we got no control over growth, and it's going to happen in every community. As you can see, you got other schools moving up. When I took over, like you said, I would have never thought. When I took over, we were 1A with about 320 kids, and then now we're about 650, playing 3A ball. So I would have never thought that would happen.
How long did it take for that number to double? Because that's basically what it's done. How long have you been the head coach?
Well, I took over in 2005. So when we came to the new building in 2014, we weren't much bigger than, we weren't at 400 yet, because we got this big school, and it's almost, we joked about it all the time, it's like walking around a ghost town because we got this big school with only about 350 kids, So, so you figure 10 years, that's where we've came from. We were probably mid-300s in 2014 when we moved in, and we're about 650 now, so.
Build it and they will come, Gavin.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Well, Gavin Webster, good luck on Friday night and senior night for the Purple Tigers to end the regular season, and best of luck in the playoffs.
All right. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Murphy.
All righty. Good luck, guy.
And we've been talking with
Thank
head coach Gavin Webster of the Watertown Purple Tigers, and we'll have an interview with Smith County head coach Matt Dyer when we return to the box score presented to you by Carthage Safeway.
Got a special outdoor project that you need to tackle? BDGR Excavating is the one to call. Custom land clearing, mulching, excavation, and more. They can help get the job done, even when others have failed. Call the problem solvers at BDGR at 615-489-1329 and let them help you get that project out of the way so you can really start enjoying your property. BDGR Excavating.
Nearstar Tennessee Zinc Mines is a proud supporter of athletic programs throughout the area, including high school football and high school basketball. To learn more about us, please visit us at our website, www.nearstar.com. Nearstar Tennessee Zinc Mines.
Looking to buy or sell a home? Call Underwood Hometown Realty today. Our experienced team of professionals is here to guide you every step of the way. Whether you're a first-time buyer or looking to sell, we make the process smooth and stress-free. With deep roots in the community, we know the local market inside and out. Let us help you find your dream home or get the best value for your current one. Call Underwood Hometown Realty now at 615-683-3300, where hometown service meets real estate expertise.
Your trusted friend for all your grocery needs in Smith County is Carthage Safeway, your home-owned and home-operated supermarket. From the delicious USDA steaks in their meat department to the freshest produce around, Carthage Safeway is proud to serve you and your family. Todd and Angela Skurlock and everyone at Carthage Safeway are always there with a friendly smile and a helping hand. Great service, prices, and selection. That's Carthage Safeway, 80 Dixon Springs Highway, Carthage.
Here with head coach Matt Dyer on the box score, presented to you by Carthage Safeway, Terry Collins and Murphy Fair. And Murph, I'm going to change things up a little and give you the first question.
All right, Matt, I'm looking at the standings right here. It's kind of been a tough season for you guys, but you have weathered the storm and are not only ready for another game this week, but the playoffs. I'm looking at the schedule right now, and I see you're playing Monterey. Is that at Carthage or up on the mountain?
Yeah, we got Monterey this week, and this is going to determine. This game can determine, our 3 or 4 seed coming out of our region. And like we're having to go up on the mountain. Like you said, we're going to Monterey. We weathered the storm this year. We either battled injuries here or there, or, we battled youth and inexperience. And, I've been proud of our guys all year. They fought hard. They played hard. Like I've kind of said all year, I guess, it's a big difference when you're playing, a bunch of 14 and 15-year-olds against a bunch of 18-year-olds that, everybody we've played have been real senior heavy. I think we've only played 2 teams all year, or 3. I think DeKalb, Jackson, and Trousdale were the only teams we played this year that didn't have at least 12 seniors on their roster. And, we're starting 5 freshmen and 8 sophomores each and every week. But I'm proud of the progress that our guys have made. I'm proud of the experience that they've gained along the way. And, also, they're not playing just older teams. We're playing really daggone good teams. I think Westmoreland, every team we played, with the exception, I think Jackson, Liberty Creek, and Trousdale County have been ranked in the top 10 at some point in their classification. At some point, DeKalb was in their top 10. Gornsville, I believe, is still in the top 10 or was. Macon County, Upperman, Westmoreland, all those guys, and all of them got some type of Mr. Football nomination or whatever. You got the Cooper White kid out of Westmoreland, the two Borders twins, Bronson Chaffin, Ethan Falk, all these really exceptional football players. And our guys, they played hard, they played tough. They played in the face of great adversity all season, and they can only continue to get better. All of our freshmen and sophomores have gained so much valuable experience. I'm proud of them. I'm proud of the way they fought all year, and it makes for good football moving forward.
Matt, you had an off week last week. I'm sure 2 weeks to prepare for a very physical Monterey team that beat Gornsville at Gornsville 21-0, but using just what I call bully ball, just taking the football and running right at you, a lot similar to what we did the last 2 years before this year. When you look at that, and we've struggled against the run, I guess having an extra week to prepare has helped.
Well, unfortunately, they won't let us play with 12 or 13 guys. So, yeah, we've had to, work on some stuff to where we can be a little bit better in the run without playing Canadian rules. So I told Coach R, we got to put something in because they won't let us play with more than 11. So, we've got to tackle better, get off blocks better, win our one-on-ones, have the ball bounce our way sometimes, and, sit there and just hustle to the football, play to the whistle blows, make sure we gang tackle, get bodies to the football, get bodies downhill, and force them into a mistake or get a snap over their head or put Monterey in uncomfortable situations to where they can't just get in that three-back look or, run the quarterback and all that. Take away what they're good at and force them to do something they're not real comfortable with, and that's what we've got to do. And, offensively, we've got to play complementary football, and when we've got the ball and when we got to make use of our possessions, we got to put points on the board to maybe get them out of that run-heavy look that they do. Teams throughout the season have been able to do that to them. And, they've had a little bit of success against Monterey when they get them out of their run game, when they get them out of their comfort zone and kind of force them to maybe throw the ball or spread it out a little bit. They're not very apt at that because at the end of the day, both of us are playing for that number 3 seed to where, we travel to either Fayetteville or Forest, whoever wins that game this week. It's a lot shorter haul than having to go to Monterey where our 4 seed will have to go. No one likes those long trips because there's a lot of distractions can happen on there. So, both of us are playing for seeding. Both of us are playing for a big game. And, both of us are going to probably throw the kitchen sink at each other trying to get a region win.
Matt, I'm curious, with you having an off week last week, that gave you a chance maybe to think a little bit about what the region might look like next year. I don't want to get the cart in front of the horse, but who do you see leaving the region as far as where we are now, and what new teams do you think might be coming into the same region as the Owls?
I'm not real sure, Murph. We've looked at it countless times since they announced the classifications, and we're getting ready to announce the regions. You got schools that have moved up to 3A, schools that have moved down to 1A. And TWA, sometimes they can just throw a wild hair out there. They might not take geography into question, and they draw the line wherever they want to draw. It's like my 5-year-old with a crayon. You never know where it's going to go. We've looked at some different scenarios with Westmoreland going up to 3A, with East Nashville dropping down to 2A, let's say there was a couple other schools that moved up, like Cascade is going up to 3A, Harpeth is going up to 3A. they could do a number of things. You know, we could be in a West region with East Nashville, East Robertson, Trousdale County, maybe Houston County, or I know there's another 2A school up there I'm forgetting about. Or they could take us east where it'd be us, Jackson, Gordonsville, Monterey, you know, York, Cannon, Grundy, something like that. Or they could make a northern region. You know, it could be Houston County, East Rob, East Nashville, Gordonsville, Smith, and Trousdale. You know, they could do a number of things, and no one will really know until TWA makes the final decision. And then after they do that is when you'll kind of hear, I guess, a bunch of griping from some people, or you'll hear cheers from other people. You know, there's no telling where they could send us, but I do know Westmoreland will move out of this region because they're going 3A, and then Gordonsville, of course, is moving up to 2A, and there's a number of things that they could do, and no one really knows.
But at least we don't have to play Pearl Combs. They're going all the way to 4A, so we don't have to worry about that one anyway, do we?
Yeah, and looking back, hindsight, you know, we probably could have gone up to 3A. You know, we don't have the numbers to do it, but when you talk about teams in proximity, I think there's a lot. Our region would have been a lot more clear because of our 3A teams that are around us. Watertown, Sequatchie, Fairview, Sycamore, White House Heritage. You know, they're all very, very close in proximity. But like I said, it's hindsight. You never know.
Matt, when you look at the Owls this year, injuries have hurt us at times. I know you had the off week. What's the status of some of the injuries and them coming back Friday night?
Well, we've got relatively healthy this week or last 2 weeks. You know, Wyatt Claywell had to leave the Westmoreland game early. He's been rehabbing. He looks to be back. Caden Mason, I believe, had to leave the game early. He's on his way back. Ben Howell has missed the last 2 games. He's been practicing, so he should be good to go. I believe the only one who is still a scratch is Jaden Evans. I believe he's the only one still that will not be playing this Friday night. But we get Eric Shaw back. He probably could have played the Westmoreland week, but after just seeing how he moved in practice, we kept him out. Thought we had a pretty good look with our freshman lineman ahead of him. But right now, I believe Jaden Evans is the only one that is still probably going to be out and miss this game. Otherwise, everybody else should be ready to go.
Matt, very quickly, what worries you the most about Monterey?
Just their size and their physicality. Their backs are very good at what they do. They got a little number 10, not little, there ain't nothing little about their back. So they got a number 10, a number 9, 14, and 15. It's almost like they went to the NCAA football creative player and sit there and put all those guys through a clone machine. And they're just big, they're thick, they're physical, they're fast. They run the ball hard, they get downhill, and you know, they don't do anything truly fancy, Monterey. They line up in their unbalanced or double tight looks with those 3 fullbacks, and they run power counter ISO, and that's it. You know, just biggest thing is you got to have 11 guys on defense doing their job. You know, we tell them last 2 weeks, like, guys, you might not make the tackle, but you can always make a play by doing your job. You know, that's just getting our guys to buy into that, you know, even if you don't make the tackle, you can make a play by doing your job. You know, get your hands on your guys, control your gap, defeat blocks, win one-on-ones, and, you know, scrape and shuffle to where you need to be to either set an edge or be a filler or, you know, run the alley if you're our safety. But, you know, biggest thing is just having 11 guys come up and play the football. You know, we can't have our corners backing off or playing off and, you know, playing 9 or 11 or playing 7 on 11 with our defensive backs not getting in the run game. So I guess that's the biggest thing.
Well, Coach Matt Dyer, best of luck at Monterey and on into the playoffs next week.
guys. Appreciate y'all. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Matt. Good luck, buddy.
We've been talking to Smith County head coach Matt Dyer. We'll have a look at our game of the week and get the Gurus picks when we return to the box score presented by Carthage Safeway.
Do you ever worry about the safety of your home when you leave? Or at night while you're sleeping? Then give your home a professional security makeover with help from DTC Security.
For just $49.99, get a system with a touch keypad, 3 window or door sensors, motion detector, key fob, and standard installation. There's never been a better time to get started.
Contact us and start your home's DTC Security Makeover today.
If you're a commercial driver looking for a company to call home, Huff and Puff Trucking is the company for you. Our employees are professional and dedicated individuals that take pride in what they do. We offer an outstanding pay package with a dispatch structure that maximizes your home time. To learn more about a company that knows you by name and treats you like family, call us at 1-800-965-5033 or visit our website at huffpufftrucking.com.
Do you ever worry about the safety of your home when you leave? Or at night while you're sleeping? Then give your home a professional security makeover with help from DTC Security.
For just $49.99, get a system with a touch keypad, 3 window or door sensors, motion detector, key fob, and standard installation. There's never been a better time to get started.
Contact us and start your home's DTC Security Makeover today.
Got a special outdoor project that you need to tackle? BDGR Excavating is the one to call. Custom land clearing, mulching, excavation, and more. They can help get the job done, even when others have failed. Call the problem solvers at BDGR at 615-489-1329 and let them help you get that project out of the way so you can really start enjoying your property. BDGR Excavating.
Looking to buy or sell a home? Call Underwood Hometown Realty today. Our experienced team of professionals is here to guide you every step of the way. Whether you're a first-time buyer or looking to sell, we make the process smooth and stress-free. With deep roots in the community, we know the local market inside and out. Let us help you find your dream home or get the best value for your current one. Call Underwood Hometown Realty now at 615-683-3300, where hometown service meets real estate expertise.
Welcome back into the box score. Terry Collins along with Murphy Fair, and we'll wrap this up talking about our football game night, our Huff and Puff Trucking game of the week on DTC Sports, and its community who has really struggled this year, Murphy, at 0-9 going to Watertown.
Yeah, they have. It's one of those games you like to have on your schedule if you're playing community, because you know you can play a lot of young kids, but they've kind of had a hard time, and they're kind of like a situation that Watertown's in. It's just a wide spot in the road.
Right.
But the numbers are growing faster than they can keep up with, and that's why they're in 3A. They really need to be in 2A.
You look at Eagleville and a lot of those teams, Forest, a lot of those areas are really growing as we look at those numbers from enrollment from 2 years ago until now. Looking at our East Tennessee picks, Murphy, I know last week we were kind of shocked that Alcoa beat Maryville, but that did happen. Feather in the cap for the Tornadoes. This week, you got Elizabethton at Greenville.
Oh, that's going to be a great one. Those two have been going after each other, playing in a larger classification than their numbers warrant, but major high school football venues in both of those places. But based on what I've seen in scores already, I think Greenville wins that one by a couple of touchdowns.
Of course, you got Kingsport, Dobbins-Bennett, and Science Hill. That's a upper East Tennessee matchup.
Yeah, it is, and those two have been around. I think Dobbins-Bennett High School has played more high school football games than anybody in the state of Tennessee, and Science Hill's probably been in on a lot of those. I think the whoever's won the most games is probably Dobbins-Bennett, but I think Science Hill won fairly big last year. I think they're favored again this year, and they're kind of turning the tables on that rivalry, I guess you might say. So I'll go with Science Hill.
South Pittsburgh, the Pirates traveling to Whitwell in a battle for that region championship, I think.
No love lost between either one of those games. Obviously, the big rivalry in that county is South Pitt and Marion, but I think this one has a chance to be one that goes right down to the wire. I figure South Pitt will win. They've got just a little more speed than Whitwell, but Whitwell will line up and hit you in the mouth if you're not careful. So the Pirates better be ready for a fight.
Let's go ahead and look at the Middle Tennessee picks. Providence Christian, a team that we don't know a lot about, but they're going to Webb School over in Bell Buckle, not the one in Knoxville. And, that should be a big game.
I think so. LeBron Ferguson, who was the head coach at Oakland for a while, who was an assistant at Franklin Road Academy, a really good guy, and he's done a great job getting that program started just a couple of years ago. And Providence Christian is a force to be reckoned with. Webb had some not only out of town but out of state players last year, but I don't think that's quite the case judging from their record, and I think Providence probably wins that one and gets a first round game in the playoffs in Murfreesboro.
Murph, Page, and Knowlesville, that's turned into quite a rivalry in a short amount of time.
Oh, it really has.
Knowlesville, a new school, and they've battled back and forth, not only in the regular season, but in the postseason.
Page has got 2 or 3 kids on their team at least that are being sought after and have already made commitments to Power 5 schools. And that seems to be a regular thing year after year after year over there in Rudderville, which is where Page High School is. But nonetheless, I think they've probably got the horses they need to get past Nolensville one more time this year.
Macon County traveling to Crossville to play Stone Memorial.
That has been the toughest region to call because the top 4 or 5 teams in that region are capable of lining up and playing smash mouth football against whoever's on the schedule and do it very, very well. Stone Memorial's already pulled off a couple of upsets. Macon County has too, and even though it's a road trip, they know what's on the table and what they need to do, and I think Coach Shoulders does a good job this week of getting his Tigers prepared for that big game in Crossville.
I think the winner of that game is maybe in 3rd place. When you look at the West Tennessee picks, go ahead, Murph.
All right, Collierville and Houston. Houston, the defending state champion in 6A. Collierville's 9-0 right now. They've gotten awfully close. They're the only team, I think, that has competed in all 6 classes of Division I football in Tennessee. And I think Collierville, with the state's largest enrollment, gets a big win this week.
Lausanne at University School of Jackson.
Yeah, that'll be a pretty good game. 2 really good coaches. I think based on what the 2 schools have done this year, though, USJ probably gets the win. I think the difference, they're playing on their own home field, and I think that will help them against Lausanne.
A big game every year, Covington and Westview, and they're playing that at UT Martin.
They're both undefeated and putting up insanely obscene numbers. The quarterback is the younger brother of the Simpson kid who's now at Alabama, and everybody says he's better than his older brother is. I think they're averaging pretty close to 55 or 60 points a game. I seriously thought about trying to go to that game because I've got a Saturday meeting in Jackson, but I think I'll just listen to it on the radio. I'm going to go with Westview.
Let's go ahead with the local picks.
All right, Gordonsville, they know what's on the agenda. I'm picking Gordonsville over Clay County to win that regional championship. Smith County, I think, will have their hands full. Monterey just too big and too strong, I think, and playing at home, that will be an advantage for them. So I'm going with Monterey in that one. It depends on how bad DeKalb County's kids feel. I think they could play even with Upperman, but I just don't see that happening after last week, and I've got to go with Upperman in that one. And then Watertown shouldn't have any trouble at home with Community.
We want to thank all our sponsors, our title sponsors, Carthage Safeway, Huff and Puff Trucking, Near Star, Sonic of Carthage, Underwood Hometown Realty, and BDGR Excavating. Thanks for watching the box score. We'll see you next week as we get ready for the playoffs. And it's brought to you by Carthage Safeway.